The Indian Air Force deployed Tejas Mk-1 aircraft in Jammu and Kashmir. It's quite interesting because it was believed that the Tejas was stationed only at the Sulur Air Force base in Tamil Nadu. Various reports said that after the Gale-1 clash in June 2020, the Indian Air Force sent IOC standard Tejas fighters from the 45 Squadron Flying Daggers to a forward air base on the western border. But now, they're in Kashmir. The Indian Air Force's Western Air Command tweeted about it, and Air Marshal Sinha was spotted inspecting one of the Tejas Mk-1 fighter jets there. By the way, Sulur Air Base housed the IAF's Flying Daggers and Flying Bullet squadrons, with the Tejas fighters having initial operational clearance and final operational clearance versions, respectively. Now, with their deployment in Kashmir, it shows the Indian Air Force's confidence in the aircraft's capabilities. It seems they're all set to deploy them in forward positions, facing India's adversaries. It's an interesting development, no doubt. But why Kashmir though? The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir is surrounded by the mighty Himalayas, with peaks, ridges, and valleys that make flying a fighter jet here quite the task. For example, the Siachen Glacier, the highest battlefield on Earth. This place is no joke. High altitude, severe cold, and unpredictable weather conditions make flying in this area extremely difficult. Controlling Siachen provides India with strategic depth, a big deal during conflicts. Indian troops here have the upper hand in monitoring border activities and deterring hostile forces. Now, moving on to the Pir Panjal Range, whoever controls these mountains dominates access to the entire Kashmir Valley. It's an essential natural barrier. It separates Indian-administered Jammu and Kashmir from the rest of India. Then there's Dras, known as the gateway to Ladakh. It's one of the coldest inhabited places in the world. However, Dras is also a strategic military outpost for India in the Kargil sector. It gives the Indian Army an eagle eye to observe and respond to potential movements from the Pakistani side. Deploying fighters in the valley allows pilots to gain experience in flying in such challenging terrain, enhancing their skills and confidence in operating the aircraft under demanding conditions. The valleys are narrow and tight, not leaving much room for error during flight. Flying through these mountainous terrains requires precision because sometimes the pilot may experience low visibility, strong winds, and sudden weather changes that can pose significant challenges to control the aircraft. They need to navigate and control with utmost care to avoid terrain collisions. Indian pilots must have exceptional flying skills to maneuver safely through these confined spaces. Many places in Kashmir have thinner air, which at higher altitudes reduces engine thrust and lift and impacts aircraft performance. Indian pilots must be aware of these alterations in air density and adjust their flights accordingly. There are limited escape routes in the valley for pilots in emergency or combat situations, and can result in psychological strain for the pilots, who must maintain vigilance and make decisions quickly while navigating through challenging terrain. The Indian Air Force firmly supports the LCA Tejas fighter program by continually enhancing the aircraft's capabilities. In order to test these novel capabilities in Tejas, the Kashmir Valley is likely the ideal location. It will not only prove that the new features works in the Tejas fighters, but it also helps figure out how well the plane can get around barriers and do tactical maneuvers. The valley is a good place to test an aircraft's sensors, communication systems, and electronic warfare capabilities in difficult circumstances, like when a signal goes out or when the mountains get in the way. The valley provides an opportunity to evaluate the aircraft's performance at low altitude. Flying at low altitudes can help fighter aircraft avoid detection by enemy radar. When aircraft fly at low levels, they can use the terrain to conceal themselves from enemy radar systems, making it more difficult for their opponents to detect and target them. During certain mission categories, low-level flight offers a tactical advantage. In ground attack missions or close air support, flying at low altitudes enables pilots to visually identify and engage targets, such as hostile ground forces or installations, more effectively. Kashmir has been a conflict zone. In conflict situations, familiarity with the terrain can provide tactical advantages, such as knowing the best routes for interception or target engagement. Lastly, the valley can help identify areas for development of the Tejas fighter jets, allowing engineers and designers to make the necessary design and performance modifications to the aircraft.